The way that you are going to be able to look back one day and share your own testimony of how the Lord was equipping you in ways that you did not even know in the moment, please expect that to happen. Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Melody and I make faith-based content here on YouTube. I post new videos every single Monday. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely be sure and subscribe. I would love to have you join the family. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about this truth that we can hold in our hearts, that God will equip us as we go. As He leads, as He guides us, He will be equipping us even when we don't realize that we are being prepared and equipped in a specific moment. Now, as I unpack on this topic and share some of the personal ways that the Lord has equipped me to do exactly what I'm doing right now, I hope that this can be encouragement for you to know that even when you don't realize it, even when you are wondering, Lord, why am I in this corporate job? Lord, why am I still in school? Lord, why am I dealing with this aggravating boss each and every day? Sis, He is ordering your steps. And in each and every way and in each and every moment, you are being equipped for the thing that He is calling you to next. And again, the only reason I can speak on this and know that this is a truth is because I have lived and walked this out and continue to do so. There also are so many people in the Bible who lived this truth. Moses, David, Daniel, just to name a few. So I feel like for this story to make sense, let's just first start with where I am now and kind of catch you up if you did not know. So right now I am a mother of a 2-year-old. I have worked for myself full-time doing YouTube as well as content creation over on Instagram, as well as running my membership club, the Created for This membership club. I've been doing all of this full-time for a year and a half now. It will be 2 years in July. I have been hitting targets that I did not even think were possible and that completely blow out of the water anything that I was making in corporate America prior. And besides just the tangible financial growth, which is very easy to track, there also has been such a change in me spiritually, such a change in my mindset in ways that only the Lord could be responsible. So as we unpack my journey over the last 10 years on how the Lord was equipping me to do everything that I'm doing today, I want you to know that this is my testimony. And in that means that anything that God has done for me, He can do it for you, sis. That is the testimony of Jesus. It's the spirit of prophecy. Again, meaning whatever He has done for one, He can do for another. So if you are waiting for God to equip you or feeling like, Lord, what are you doing in this season? Please know that He is up to something, just like He was up to something in my life when I had no idea what was going on. Now, before we hop into my story, I want to go ahead and pause here and mention a brand that has truly been helping me in the season of life that I am in currently. It is Wild Grain. So you guys know I've talked about them in a previous video and I had so many questions and people were actually letting me know that the link I shared wasn't working, which is tragic. So I'm gonna have an updated link for you down below. Wild Grain is the first ever bake from frozen subscription box that sends directly to your doorstep fresh pastas, sourdough breads, and also pastries. My family absolutely loves the croissants that are a free item that is included in every single subscription box if you use my link down below. We also loved the cookies, the sourdough bread, and it's amazing to feel like you baked these items because it's coming out of your oven, it is fresh, but you kind of had some help and you didn't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen to get this great product there on your dinner table. So if you guys want to check out Wild Grain, I will have a link down below and it'll be working this time. It will get you $30 off your first box as well as free croissants. You don't want to miss out, sis. These are truly so delicious. All right, sis, with all of that in mind, let's go ahead and hop into this truth in fact that we can take to the bank. God will equip us as we go. Now, for the sake of this story and for all of this to make sense, we kind of gotta go back and talk about the beginning of where all of this started. So we're gonna go all the way back 10 years to 2013, which I guess actually would be 11 years now. I was a junior in college at this point. I was a part of a business professional fraternity called AK Psi, and I was very much living in the world. Okay, she had no desire for a relationship with God. I was practicing new age things, carrying around crystals, roles. If you guys are not familiar with my testimony, I will have that linked above here. So even though, again, I'm not living for God, there is just this thing in me that is drawing me to this role inside of my fraternity that is the chaplain role. And this role has nothing to do with Christianity or being like a chaplain of any sort, but you are responsible for basically putting on brotherhood activities that garner just that brotherhood camaraderie. So I run for the role and I get it, and I am now the chaplain of my organization. So from there, I am putting on and hosting Realm of Realness. That's what I called it. We had a book club where we would be reading different books and just having genuine, authentic, vulnerable conversations. And so this is the first seed that God planted in me way back before I was even in relationship with him, showing me how to lead a group, how to have meaningful conversations, how to cultivate an atmosphere where people feel safe and seen. And that's exactly what I do on a bigger scale and for the Lord right now in my membership club. This club is somewhere safe that people can go, specifically women, can go online and grow in their relationship with God along other women that want the same, to have accountability, to be prayed over, to put down the walls of life and really talk about the real things. And so that's the first thing that just, when I think about it, I'm like, wow, God is so good. He was growing me in this area when I didn't even know him or call him by name. So that's the first kind of step in my journey, sis. And this part of my story can't help but remind me of Moses's experience of being in the desert of Midian for 40 years before God called him at 80, talked to him through that burning bush, and sent him back into Egypt to free his people. Moses was literally learning how to live in the desert, how to live off the land, how to survive the elements, how to lead and guide sheep, creatures who were notorious for going off and getting caught in the thicket and needing someone to come rescue them. And how similarly did the Israelites respond under his leadership, where he was constantly having to remind them of God's goodness and point their heart back to him. So Moses, in this season of his life, those 40 years in Midian, was being prepared. And I feel like the parallels to just a small instance in my life, it doesn't miss me. It just doesn't miss me at all. So let's keep this in mind as we fast forward to 2015. I have an encounter with the Lord. I was told through one of my best friends how God does not want me to be perfect. He does not want perfection out of me. He just wants a relationship with me. And this breaks down every single wall that I've ever had built up against God. And I start to let him in my heart. And at this point, she is giving baby Christian, but very, very on fire for the Lord. And it is also at this point where I still have this creative outlet that I have always been drawn to. In college, I had a blog. When I moved abroad in 2015, which if you didn't know, that's where I found the Lord, it was in South Korea, I also had a blog. But after a year of living in a town where I was one of 2 Black women, I knew that I wanted to talk about the complexities of my experience being a Black person living in Korea, specifically a Black woman. But I just knew I couldn't type it. This couldn't go up on the blog. I needed to talk it out. And so this creative desire and this innate creativity that the Lord placed into me was channeled into me sitting down one day in 2016 on the floor of my studio apartment in South Korea and recording a video, which you can watch right here, about the pros and cons of being Black in Korea. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how this YouTube channel was born. By complete happenstance, by complete just God, honestly. So as I am now creating YouTube videos about living abroad in South Korea and being Black in South Korea, God continues to do this work in my heart. And as this work in my heart is happening, I start to express that slowly as well on my YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and fast forward once again to 2020. At this point, I had taken many breaks from my YouTube channel, but I had always felt the Lord convicting me in my heart to be a good steward of the platform that he gave me. I believe I had maybe like 50,000 subscribers. And so one day in 2020, I'm living in Atlanta. I'm living again in a studio apartment, and the Lord prompts me and puts it on my heart to sit down once again on the floor of my studio apartment and press record and share my testimony. Now, the testimony is right here. You can watch it, sis. And it was something that I dragged my feet on for as long as I could. Again, I felt so nervous of putting my faith out there, of talking about the places and the spaces and the things that I used to do that God had saved me from. But as soon as I posted that video, God did what he continues to do in my life when I am obedient. He honored my obedience. And that's the next thing that I want to highlight to you, says God will honor your obedience as you take that next step and trust him to equip you for the next thing. So once I post this video, the video does crazy numbers. People are flocking to my channel and now they want to hear about my faith. And so God created this opportunity for me to come online and talk about the one thing that I don't want to stop talking about. Talk about the one thing that I will never run out of things to say about, which is him. So the last piece of preparation that the Lord was working together in my life all throughout this time, which led up to me quitting my job in July of 2022, was my previous job in corporate America. So I worked for almost 3 years at a tech company that is based here out of Atlanta. Now, some of the things that I was learning on this job was how to mitigate payment issues, how to talk to customers, really working and networking these skills of customer service, of mitigating issues, of making numbers work. And something that I was specifically tasked with was becoming a subject matter expert. Man, it's been so long since I've used these terms, but a subject matter expert in this website called Stripe. Now, if you guys are familiar with Stripe, all you really need to know, it is a payment processing company. People will use Stripe to process their company's payments. It could be big companies, small companies, whatever. So I became just exceptionally skilled in mitigating issues in Stripe, running reports, just anything that Stripe could do, your girl knew how to do it, okay? So much so that I'm writing process docs, I'm teaching other people how to do it, etc., etc. And so when it comes time for me to have my daughter, I go on maternity leave, and the only thing on my mind is I do not want to go back to this job. Lord, make a way for me to not go back to this job. And at this point, I was doing my corporate full-time job as well as posting on YouTube, but things were not necessarily at the point where I was able to just quit my job with no worries or concerns. And so 6 months of my maternity leave, my husband and I were working it out. All right, babe, your girl's not going back to work. How can we make this, how can we make this happen? And we prayed about it and we decided that we were gonna take a leap of faith. And so it's during this time, so it's during my maternity leave, that I start working on creating my membership club, the Created for This membership club. The Lord has given me this idea, again, going back to these experiences from college, to cultivate an online safe space for women to come together and grow in their relationship with God, for me to equip them with tools, challenges, and again, just this community and safe place to draw closer to the Lord. So I start working on this, and I have my personal assistant at the time. Her name is Amanda. Now she is actually the chief strategy officer for my membership club, and working with her has been one of the greatest joys of my life. I could not do what I do without her, and that is another part of God equipping me. He knew I could not do all of that on my own, especially being a fresh postpartum mom. And so that is also a part of the equipping process that you can expect of God bringing people into your life. So it's not just God equipping you specifically to do the thing, but equipping you through relationships. And so to get back to it, we launched my membership club, and what do you know? The payment processor that the platform that we chose to go with, which is Kajabi, to host all of the membership portal and all of the material, they use the payment processor Stripe. And so in a way that only God could have orchestrated it, my 3-year spin in corporate America prepared me specifically to do the thing that I'm doing today and mitigating payment issues with my membership club, with searching through Stripe, running reports. I know Stripe like the back of my hand. I cannot tell you how many times at my old job I was like, Lord, I don't care about Stripe. I don't care about these customer issues. I don't feel like this is what you're called me to, but I was still faithful in that place that he had me because I knew he hadn't released me yet. And so I'm just so grateful for God, his timing, the way that he has equipped me with both internal knowledge as well as people coming into my life. And now as I am walking, and I know wholeheartedly I'm walking in my purpose, doing exactly what the Lord has called me to do, I still am prompted by the Holy Spirit to do better in specific areas. I am growing, I am learning. And so yes, sis, this was a little bit of a different video, but God truly placed it on my heart to just encourage somebody to know that you are being equipped. Trust the Lord, trust his timing, and surrender to his processes. The way that you are going to be able to look back one day and share your own testimony of how the Lord was equipping you in ways that you did not even know in the moment, please expect that to happen. It is part of our walk and our journey with the Lord. So that is all I have for you today, sis. Just a word of encouragement and to know that God is with you. He knows things and the places and the spaces that he is taking you to, and it is all going to happen in his perfect timing. Just keep on surrendering and trusting him to take that one next step. All right, sis, that is going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And now, of course, it is your turn. So in the comments below, I would love to know, in what area or areas of your life are you believing in God for him to equip you? Let us know down in the comments. I feel like there are probably areas in all of our lives where we feel solid, like, okay, God, we are good over here, but this other area, I am still waiting for you to prepare me for what I know is coming next. So let us know in the comments. I will drop mine down below. Take a second and scroll on through. I feel like it'll be really amazing if we are able to just stand in agreement with each other in these areas. So again, take a second, drop your response, and scroll on through. As always, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Peace.